Hi there, hope you are doing fine. This is Mr. Philip Koma, the excellent tutor. This is a weekend past paper tutorial, and we're looking at paper 1. Without wasting much of your time, let us begin. So these questions are all based on paper 1, okay? They are all under paper 1. So I encourage you to answer these questions before I give you my answer. So there will be moments I'll be asking you to pause the video so that you can try to answer these questions on your own. So let's start. Question 1 reads, which of the following structures hold the humerus to the radius? So the humerus and the radius, these are bones. Okay, so which of the following structures hold the humerus to the radius? We've got A, tendon, B, ligament, C, synovial membrane, and D, cartilage. A, tendon, B, ligament, C, synovial membrane, and D, cartilage. So here's a trick. When it comes to paper 1, it's going to be easier for you to answer if at least you know two things on the options that you've been given. So if you know the functions of two things that we have here, it will be very easy for you to identify the answer for this question. So that's a trick. Okay, that's what you should be using. Try by all means to at least know two things on the options that you have. Okay, so pause the video and try to answer this question on your own. Alright, so I'm sure you've done that. If your answer is B, you are correct. So the answer for question 1 is B. The ligament is a structure that holds the humerus to the radius. So the function of the ligament is that it holds a bone to a bone. It is the one that links bones. Okay, if you look at the tendon, it links a bone to a muscle. If you look at the synovial membrane, it is the one which encloses the synovial fluid. If you look at the cartilage, it's the one which reduces friction. So you've seen, I know the functions of the remaining three. So it was easier for me to identify B to be my answer. So that's a trick that I want you to be using. So the answer for question 1 is B, ligament. Let us move on to question 2. Which of the following bones form a hinge joint? Which of the following bones form a hinge joint? Now you won't be able to answer this question if you don't know what a hinge joint is. Okay, so a hinge joint is a joint which forms a 180 degrees. Okay, so you find that the bones can only move in one plane. Okay, only one plane is allowed on a hinge joint, and once a joint is straightened, you find that there will be it will form a 180 degrees. That's a hinge joint. So now that we know what a hinge joint is, let us look at the options that we have. So we've got A, humerus and ulna, B, radius and scapula, C, radius and ulna, and D, scapula and humerus. Which of the following bones form a hinge joint? Pause the video, try to answer this question on your own. Play the video to find out the answer. Alright, I'm sure you've done that. The answer for question 2 is D, scapula and humerus. These are the ones that will form a hinge joint. These are the bones that are going to form a hinge joint. By the way, these bones are located on your shoulder, that area. Okay, that's where you're going to find your scapula and the humerus. Yeah. Let us move on, my excellent biology students. Question 3. The skeletal system found in insects is the dash. The skeletal system found in insects is the dash. We've got A, endoskeleton, B, exoskeleton, C, hydrostatic skeleton, and D, exoskeleton. I'm sure you've never heard of D before. So A, endoskeleton, B, exoskeleton, C, hydrostatic skeleton, okay, and then D, exoskeleton. Pause the video, try to answer this question on your own, then play the video to find out the answer. Alright, I'm sure you've done that. So the answer for question 3 is B, exoskeleton. Insects have got an exoskeleton. Okay, that's the type of skeleton that they have, and the exoskeleton is one which is located outside. It is outside. Okay, that is why that's the exoskeleton. It's a type of skeleton located outside. All right, let us move on to question 4. Question 4 reads, what type of skeleton is found in man, grasshopper, and earthworm? What type of skeleton is found in man, grasshopper, and earthworm? We've got this table here, and then A, man endoskeleton, grasshopper exoskeleton, then earthworm hydrostatic skeleton. Then B, man endoskeleton, grasshopper hydrostatic skeleton, earthworm exoskeleton. Then C, man hydrostatic skeleton, grasshopper endoskeleton, then earthworm exoskeleton. Then D, man hydrostatic skeleton, grasshopper exoskeleton, earthworm endoskeleton. Pause the video, try to answer this question on your own. Play it to find the answer. Alright, I'm sure you've done that. The answer for question 4 is A. Man has got an endoskeleton type of skeleton. Grasshopper has got an exoskeleton type of skeleton. Then the earthworm has got a hydrostatic skeleton. Okay, so A is the answer for question 4. Let us move on to question 5. Alright, figure 14 shows a vertebra. Okay, vertebra, it's a singular for vertebrae. Okay, these are spinal bones. So figure 14 shows a vertebra. What type of vertebra is shown in the diagram? So look at this diagram. Okay, what type of vertebra is this? We've got A, cervical vertebra, B, thoracic vertebra, C, lumbar vertebra, then D, sacral vertebra. Pause the video, try to answer this question on your own. Alright, I'm sure you've done that. The answer for question 5 is C, lumbar vertebra. Look at this diagram very well, then compare it to the diagram in the Boniface pamphlet. You're going to notice that they are similar. So C is the lumbar vertebra. Let's move on to question 6. I hope you are enjoying. Okay, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done that. Make sure that you subscribe and then like this video. Let us continue. Question 6 reads, the diagrams below show anterior view of the two bones from the vertebral column. Okay, from which regions of the vertebral column are the two bones found? From which region of the vertebral column are the two bones found? Alright, so look at the diagram very well. It's imperative that we first study the diagrams. It's imperative. It's very important that you first look at the diagrams and study them before you even answer, because most students, they like rushing. Uyu ayamba kudala kuyanga. No. Look at the diagrams first. Study them. Okay. So we've got X and we've got Y. So looking at these diagrams, you have to identify the region where they are found. When you identify the regions, it will be very easy for you to answer this question. So we've got A, X located, X is thoracic, then Y cervical, okay. Then B, thoracic, Y lumbar, then C, X lumbar, Y thoracic, and then D, X cervical, Y sacral. Pause the video, try to answer this question. Alright, so if your answer was A, you are wrong. And if your answer was B, you are wrong. The answer for question 6 is actually C. So X is located in the lumbar region, and then Y thoracic. Okay. All right, my excellent biology students, let us move on to question 7. Figure 14.3 shows bones and muscles of the arm. Figure 14.3 shows bones and muscles of the arm, as you can see on your right side, on our right side. What is the most important function of the structure labeled X? What is the most important function of the structure labeled X? So we're going to be able to answer this question if we know what X is. So let me try to zoom in if it's not clear. So X, it is this thing which is shaded here. Okay, this thing. That's our X. So the question is, what is the most important function of the structure labeled X? So what is X? X is the ligament. If you check, it is joining this bone, which is the humerus, to this bone, which is the aorta. Okay, so it's joining these two bones. X is joining these two bones. And like we looked at that question, we said that the ligament, it links, or it joins a bone to a bone. Okay, yeah. So what is the function of the ligament? We've got A, to lubricate the joint; B, to prevent dislocation of the joint; C, to transfer the pull of muscle to the bone; then D, to act as a shock absorber. Pause the video, try to answer this question on your own. Alright, I'm sure you've done that. So the answer for question 7 is B, to prevent dislocation of the joint. So the ligament will join a bone to a bone to prevent dislocation. So it's a tough fiber which holds a bone to a bone. So that prevents dislocation. Alright, my excellent biology students, we're going to end here for this week's past paper tutorial video for paper 1. Watch out for paper 2, which is going to be sent to you tomorrow, which is on a Sunday. This is Mr. Philip Kaoma, the excellent tutor. Stay blessed.